general question, and it's more of a rhetorical question, Ash. Who the heck does Adam Schiff think he is that he thinks this is appropriate for a member of the government, the federal government, you know, the one that has to follow that little document called the Constitution, to ban a member of the free press?
Well, we do want to go to this. Let's look at this thread. It says even Twitter declined to honor Schiff's request at the time, noting responses to Schiff's office repeatedly saying, we don't do this, even though the account in question was still later suspended. Well, Elon Musk's comments on the new revelations, remarking how, quote, U.S. government agency demanded suspensions of 250,000 accounts, including journalists and Canadian officials. I really just don't see how this was even allowed. I mean, it is amazing. These are things that you think, oh, this is never going to happen. And then Elon Musk takes over, and now everything's coming to light.
I think because we have a healthy respect for the Constitution, and we know that even if topic X doesn't help us, we understand there's a bigger issue at play, and it is the Republic. It is the United States of America, and it is the rules that we have in place to govern said Republic. And those rules, the way we operate our country, all evolves from the Constitution. Joe, we have you back in here. Does the left not comprehend that selective enforcement of the freedom of the press is really no freedom at all?
Well, they comprehend it clearly, but they know they can take advantage of the fact that the media, to a certain extent, and Twitter was there to serve at the pleasure of their party, right? And no member of Congress, by the way, guys, and I think we know this, is more interested in control through the media than Adam Schiff of California, who reportedly leaks more than a submarine screen door, right? So, again, we get time and again with the exposing that shadow banning does exist, showing that the FBI did work with Twitter to suppress certain stories. And now, obviously, we're seeing this with Adam Schiff. Again, the receipts are there. But again, also, everybody in the media outside of this network and a handful others that aren't considered major networks or publications are covering this. Everybody else is silence of the lambs, guys.
You know, I just have to point out, in all the times we have talked to you when I'm sitting here filling in for Carly, I've never seen that we had issues with your shot. So it's good to finally hear your voice, Joe.
That's true.
I do want to go
First time for everything.
Right? I do want to go to this. As the federal investigation into Hunter Biden enters year 4, the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, once again is dodging questions on if the president knew anything about his son's business dealings. Take a listen.
They claim to have evidence that Joe Biden lied to the American people about his involvement in his family's business schemes. Did he?
House Republicans promised that fighting inflation during the midterms was going to be their #1 priority. But instead, what they're doing is wanting to do an investigation on the president and his family. That is their focus. They don't want to focus on the American people and their family. They want to focus on political division.
Is she deflecting, Joe?
Well, she's reading, Ashley, right? I mean, she had to like turn to the page. Where's the answer for the question I'm going to get from Ducey about investigations as it pertains to the laptop? Yeah, that is the exact definition of a deflection, Ashley, Todd. And here's the thing. And if it's a preview of what we're going to see from the White House and its allies in the media, and there are many, that Republicans, once they get their act together in Congress, and that may be some time, as you've been talking about this morning, they're only going to engage in witch hunts of Hunter Biden and the president himself because they seek to embarrass the first family, diminish their credibility, perhaps criminal wrong doesn't exist. That's their argument. But a Republican Congress doesn't really have to do that without trying much when you consider that the Hunter Biden laptop and those damning emails have been verified, and they show influence peddling in places like Ukraine, China, Russia. It's all on paper. It's just a matter of, can Republicans now get to the point where they could launch investigations? They need a Speaker of the House to do that. And apparently you or I or Todd has just as much of a chance of being that Speaker of the House as anybody else.
I'm throwing my hat in the ring later on today. As soon as the show's done, I got to go do Maria's show. Then after that, I'm throwing my hat in the ring. But Joe, basically, Karine Jean-Pierre did the dodgeball thing there, dip, dodge, dip, and dodge. But I find, at least on social media, at least with regard to my own account and what I've seen with some other people on the left, there's an active, like proactive attacking of the right when it comes to the Hunter story. Basically, the gist is you are so wrong for following up on Hunter and asking questions about Hunter as it relates to Joe. There can't be a story there because, and they never fill in the because. Have you noticed that same sort of aggressive posturing on the left when it comes specifically to the Hunter story?
Todd, it's so apparent. And what every real journalist has, objective journalist has, investigative journalist has, is that one gene, and that's curiosity, right? Boy, these emails show a lot, and no one's denying that they are real. And everything that's going on with China, right? And they're our biggest adversary. And Ukraine, obviously, getting billions upon billions of dollars. And Russia, obviously, a big adversary as well. And the president's son did business in all these places. And there's emails showing that 10% went to the big guy. And Tony Bobolinsky, who Biden's primary business partner, says that the big guy absolutely is Joe Biden, the sitting president of the United States. Let's put it this way. If this was Donald Trump Jr.'s laptop and the big guy was Donald Trump and it was all in emails, I have a feeling that this would be the big story of the year. And instead, deny, dismiss, bias of omission 101. Todd, Ashley.
Joe Concha, happy Wednesday to you, sir. Hope the storm passes over the great state of New Jersey. We appreciate it.
Bye, Joe.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.